My name is Adam Shaw. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm the director of coffee of Deeper Roots Coffee in Cincinnati. I'm David's friend.
Yeah, most importantly,
David's friend. Hi, my name is Adam Shaw. I'm David's friend.
Yeah, perfect.
I also help run a coffee company, but that's not really that important.
And I am David Kennedy from James Coffee.
I thought it tasted good.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the scheme of things, I think people would be like, oh, you should open it up more. Yeah, I don't know if the right word is, it feels like it's really concentrated for what the coffee is. That's what espresso is, but it could be, maybe it could be sweeter, maybe it's a little dry, maybe you could wet it up, if that's a term.
It's not.
I don't know what else to say. Other than
like over-extracted. Are you saying like over-extracted?
I guess so, if you're gonna be technical.
Well,
but like, it's a matter of opinion. Like, somebody else might find that to be really good, and then other people might be like, yeah, they want it to be wetter. So one I wanted to talk about, one, I met you in coffee, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you remember. I could ask you your version of the story. I could probably tell my version of the story, but I will ask you your version of the coffee. But you've been in coffee for quite a bit longer than I have.
I got into coffee professionally not till 2012, but have been like barista ink since 2006 or something.
Yeah, so yeah, you're familiar. I mean, I'd been an enthusiast, participate in like a adult social activity.
Was the catalyst the travel?
Travel, but then just always like never wanting to be a grown-up, but then realizing and I actually became like kind of an enthusiast or fan of people that were talking about wine, talking about beer, and I was like, that's cool, but alcohol never
not your thing.
Resonated with me. And then all of a sudden, in the quest of being social and not going to like a coffee shop and getting a cup of steamed milk and a cookie. Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna get into this, and that's when I started drinking like vanilla lattes and I felt like, and people were like, let's go get a coffee. I was like, I'm going, I was stoked. But either way, it took me a while, but I had a few aha moments along the way.
But yeah, we did meet in coffee.
Mm-hmm. And I don't remember what year it was, but in 2015, 16, no, 17, 18.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it must have been, because the reason why I say that is because I kind of based it around when our daughter was born. Maybe right before then.
Really?
Yeah, because we must have met in Atlanta. Me meeting you meant more to me than it meant to me.
I have two distinct...
Well, because I have
two memories of meeting you. One, we sat across from each other at the dinner table with Dana and a whole group of coffee people. And then another one, there was a bigger round table where everybody went around and said that they were into what they were into.
So awkward.
But I'm
thankful for it, actually.
I don't remember which came first, though.
I think it had to have been the round table first, because that's what caught my ear, is when you introduce yourself. Or if we would have met at the long table, it wasn't like we actually met, because it didn't catch my ear until we met at that round table, and we were kind of sitting right next to each other.
Yeah.
And
that's where everyone was in a CrossFit, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going around the table. And I don't want to get down on CrossFit, because I think any sort of thing that you're stoked on is cool. But
it was just the timing.
It was just the timing.
Everyone
of it.
was into.
It was really in. Everyone just in the world was just really into CrossFit, and then we had to say what two passions we had outside of coffee. You couldn't say coffee. And going around the table, everybody was like CrossFit and something else. I mean, literally everyone was like, oh my God. And then, but then it got to you, and then you're like, I'm into baking bread and reading books.
You're like, who is this nerd?
No, I was like, that's cool. Like, what do you mean you bake bread? I was like, that's cool. And you're like, and you made a point to say, I don't bake bread. I just bake one loaf.
One type of sourdough.
One loaf. And
this was before the sourdough craze too. I don't know what.
Well, yeah, anything pre-2020 COVID was pre-sourdough.
I had
craze.
watched a Michael Pollan thing or something. I was like, I got to do that, and then I just went all in.
But no, I was a fan. I thought it was cool that you said that. So that was when I really gravitated to you, or latched on to you at that point.
Yeah, and then we just got to talking about heavy coffee stuff after that, and kind of.
Yeah, and actually the sourdough stuff, because I was failing at that time with sourdough. I was making just bricks.
And I came with all of the right answers, man. I had the Bible.
Yeah, well,
written out.
I had all my questions. I had like I carry this little like thing around. I mean, not those notes anymore, but I would write down. I had all my questions for you, and then I had all my answers. I went home to Karina, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was me getting into coffee. Going back to, is it all just from working in coffee? Like,
no, for me, coffee came last. So what I was most interested in first, like through university, was like community development in developing countries. So I had done some trips around like service trips and stuff, and had just seen a lot of like colonialism, kind of patriarchal, just weirdness in especially Central America, heavy influence there. And none of it set well with me. It just didn't feel, it felt like very us, them still, like handing out money. It was just, I just got a bad vibe about it. But I knew that there was like, that at least for my life, that was still something I was interested in. Fast forward to like being a barista during engineering school, just because I needed to get out of the engineering building, because the people that I knew through coffee had met someone in this rural village in Guatemala who happened to be a coffee farmer. They had like a friend who did USAID health work in this area. And she invited my friends down, or like, hey, I met this random guy, he's a coffee farmer, he's got plants. I don't know if it's any good, you should come and check it out. Like my friend Les went and checked it out first. And like, I don't know, if you fast forwarded a little bit, like we're like smuggling coffee back in our backpacks, and then we start finding ways to have friends process it and air freight it and all this stuff. But for me, I started to see that as a viable way for economic exchange to do the same amount, if not more, definitely more sustainable, but potentially more good than just like the charity work. And I was just like, man, this is like there's a real opportunity with volume towards that certain relationship. You could really like develop their business there such that if something happened to my business, they don't need me. Like they've got this like amazing product, and if Adam and his company goes away, then they can go somewhere else. So it's not a charity thing. It's mutually beneficial economic exchange, and if we do better, they do better, and vice versa. So my friends and I just thought like it could be cool to build a coffee business around that framework. But this is before, like, I think this is like before direct trade was even like a term. And we sure didn't coin it, but we were just trying to find a way to make that happen more. So that was the first thing we did. Then we did some other random stuff like fixing machines and selling machines through this other nonprofit-y thing in Cincinnati. So
when you brought the coffee home, before you were fixing it, I mean, obviously you brought the coffee home and then you guys were roasting it right away, or did you have
we had a friend in the city that was roasting for us.
And then from that you were like also like, okay, like, well, we're getting into it, we're roasting, we're having this coffee, we're bringing back.
And then it became this like quality control thing. Like this coffee's not really being roasted how we want it to. So what if we just buy a roaster?
Just buy a roaster.
That's it. Drop some cash, buy a roaster, and make a for-profit business, and do all this. Take all the stuff that we were trying to do in these non-profity realms, make it a for-profit business, and do that vision of the like actually buying from people that we know and trying to make their quality better, trying to do our part, what little part we have, into helping them make their quality better. Then we started business, put it all under one for-profit roof, and that was 2011. And then I quit my engineering gig in 2012 and went full-time, and now we're doing it, man.
Yeah, now it's been over a decade.
Yeah.
Well over a decade.
Now we're buds. Now we're both doing it. Well, going back to like sourcing coffee is usually like the last thing that people do, because they start a coffee shop. And then like they work cost of goods and like, oh, we should probably roast so we can make that margin. And then they work their way back. It just so happened that we worked our way forward. The last thing we did was open retail shops.
You didn't. When was your first retail shop you opened?
2016 or 17, I think.
I feel like it was like after, or maybe you were just about to, but I know you had this conflict because you were like, oh, we were wholesale. We kind of said we were never going to do this.
Yeah.
You guys opened up that first shop.
Yeah.
But that was after we were already friends.
Yeah.
We opened our first space in 2014.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
First started with doing events, pop-ups, that kind of stuff for the first year, and then we got into like our first, I guess, retail space, in 2014, and then that was our game for Yeah, it still is.
So there's only way more shops now.
Yeah. No. But a couple more.
Yeah.
A couple more. Well, I wanted to make you a coffee. This isn't it, but yeah. But
what coffee are you want to put in?
In the
friend blend, yeah.
For us, I want to put in our Honduran coffee that we've had, and it works really well. Flavor-wise, I'm a fan. But it's also a relationship that we've had since the very beginning. So really? From the people that it involves, actually from Benjamin, that actually is from Honduras, that found that relationship as for us and made that connection with Glennis, who is the farmer. And even going to another coffee roaster, St. Frank, the friendships that coffee created really would work well for, I think, our friendship and collaborating with one of your, a coffee that you have a connection with. So yeah, that would be my pick. What about you?
Well, I want to put in this Northern Tanzania coffee, because I feel like Tanzania is most known for, one, just like blender coffee or pea berry, and two, from coffee from the South. So we somehow stumbled upon this group of farmers from the North, like halfway up Mount Kilimanjaro. It's like the craziest thing. And
that doesn't sound normal.
Yeah, it's not normal. And it was a perfect situation in that they were like sitting on the edge of like totally boosting their quality by like a massive amount. They just needed someone to like team up with. So we teamed up with them in that we were just contracting coffee like for like a year out. And that's sort of what they needed to leverage a contract so that they could get bank financing. And we ended up doing some grant stuff with them to turn on there it's called a CPU. It's everywhere else it's called like a wet mill. They had like a depulper and washing channels, everything set up, but never used it because there wasn't electricity running to
Oh, wow.
So whoever came in and did all this work didn't think that they would need to, So they needed like equivalent of like 10 grand to run electric. So, so we helped them get that up and running in, gosh, I don't know how many years ago now, but it's been several. And then we've just been buying as much as I can buy from them every year.
Okay.
I think it's cool. To me, it's cool because it's like not a typical coffee that is coming out of Tanzania. And I feel like the way we met each other is not necessarily typical.
Yeah.
And Honduras and Tanzania together is atypical. I think it's just kind of punk rock.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited.